There you go, John. There's my wife's band for you. Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode number 6 of the Community Showcase, right here on the Edge of Tech. Last week, we didn't have the Community Showcase. We had a special stream on Wednesday, and that was the Prusa MK3 versus the Bear MK3S. We had a lot of great people on that. Chris Riley, Sergio, we had Country, we had, I'm going to forget how to say his last name, so I'm not even going to try this time. But it was a bunch of awesome guests, and we had a lot of fun during that stream. But we're back for the Community Showcase, and we have some really, really cool guests for you guys tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have Joe, the 3D printing professor, as a special guest host tonight, along with Jackie and Jesse from ProjectFDL. And we got Benny Brady in the house as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Hey, everybody. Thank you guys for coming early. I was here for about 35 minutes-ish, and I've seen people already commenting. Awesome. I love to see the feed and the comments. Hey, everybody that said hi, and I appreciate it. A little bit rough right before the stream. I got home and lost one of my dear pet birds. Sounds silly, but it was one of my good buddies and the nicest bird we had. So we had 4 birds, 2 sugar gliders, a bearded dragon, and 2 cats. And unfortunately, today I got home from work after having him at the vet for quite a while today, and he did not make it. But we're here, and we're going to rock on, and this one's for you, lover boy. I love you, man. Anyways, a little bit, it's all good. I appreciate it, guys. A little bit of house cleaning. Let's see, housekeeping. How about that? Some sponsor stuff. TH3D, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. We got another great TH3D giveaway coming up next week. RPM Designs, Mr. Robbie Mack, the logo, the overlays, everything. Thank you so much. You are the master. If you guys need anything done, big or small, he loves the big stuff, cars and everything. Look up RPM Designs. StreamYard, thank you for providing this platform for us. We definitely appreciate it, and the guests appreciate it, and I know everybody watching does too. COEX 3D, check out COEX 3D. If you haven't checked out COEX, we're going to give away a mystery roll today, so stay tuned for that. Also, in the description of the video below, they have a huge blowout going on of their mystery PLA. Actually, I think it's any of their mystery filament, so check that out. I believe it's any of their filament that's mystery is on sale. I think it's like $12.50 a kilogram. So that is an awesome deal. The link is in the description below, and it goes till I think the 15th or they run out. So check that out. But without further ado, I think we're going to bring in my special guest hosts. Joe, the 3D printing professor's in the house. How you doing today?
Hey, what's going on?
Not much. I love the background, by the way.
Thank you. Well, I'm playing. I got myself a new green screen. Of course, I can't just leave it green, so I'm playing with different things. And I realized I probably shouldn't do one that was copyrighted. So I went with a generic max headroom, which might also be a problem. Never mind. This is cool.
I only see lines, so I didn't see anything. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I know you from YouTube and Twitter and a little bit on Instagram and Facebook, but tell everybody, what you do, where we can find you, and how's it going?
I mean, I think that's pretty fair. I'm pretty much on YouTube and Twitter and a little bit on Instagram and Facebook. And I've been doing 3D printing and 3D printing design related content now for years and years. And I really I got the 3D printing bug early and had a chance to play with it, and I've been really, really blessed to have the opportunity to it's taken me all over the world, and I really, really enjoy it. So
awesome. Well, we definitely enjoy the content. I've been watching, and like I said, I know we had one of our Twitter followers. He started tweeting you during one of the shows, and then you jumped on and said, hey, maybe I can come on. So we were talking back and forth for a little while, and we worked it out. And I have to thank him. He's watching tonight. WF or Ryder.
And I'm seeing some people in chat who I recognize. Sweet B52 was a backer on the Chibi Malls Kickstarter, and 3D Jimmy. So hey, everybody to chat. Good to see you.
I love it. Well, without further ado, I know Ben is having a little bit of connection issues today. I'm watching him in the chat or in the window down here. I'm making sure he's still with us. I'm going to try to bring him in here in a second. If he's not in, what we'll do is we'll get Jackie and Jesse in. But I'm not sure if he's in. So let's try it. That's a no. All right. He must be frozen. So what we'll do is I'm going to bring in Jackie and Jesse from ProjectFDL. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Now you're Jackie and Jackie now.
Used to it.
The J and J.
The J and J.
It's interchangeable.
Well, I grew up. My initials are JJE. I'm the third, so my dad and my grandpa ahead of me, along with my brother and my sister. We're all J's, and so it's when you're trying to yell at somebody, it's crazy. But well, welcome. I know what you guys do. But tell everybody what you guys do. What I know it's ProjectFDL. Let us know what that stands for.
Yeah, so describing the acronym will kind of give it away. So FDL is Foam Dart Launcher. When you spell it out, it's not that interesting, but it has a good ring to it. So what we do is here, I've got a couple here. We make these. So these are fully 3D printed Nerf blasters, basically. Now we run our own company, so we don't say Nerf super often, but that's the way that people recognize them.
This is the one time we will say it in this conversation, and then we'll just know.
It's the forbidden fruit from there on or something. I started at like a software company. I think I've been at this about 5 years now, and then it's been kind of a company for about 3. But it was like a software company, and they hand you the Nerf guns when you walk in the door or whatever. And I was like, I'm a maker. I can do this so much better. And then
I got a Nerf gun somewhere around here. I promise I do. I just don't know where it is. Got a mess.
So,
that one was good today. Yeah.
Keep talking. I just brought up your Facebook page quick, so you go ahead and you can keep talking. This is some of your work, and this is what you guys have designed. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah. So I do a lot of the design, and I designed like the electronics and the code and everything inside. So like I said, I've been a maker for a long time, and so I kind of picked up, Arduino skills and coding I did for a living before I did this. I worked for Jackie's stepdad. Hey, that was me. I worked for Jackie's stepdad doing HVAC drafting stuff for a while, so I picked up AutoCAD there too, and it was kind of this perfect storm of skills stuck together.
The pictures that you're seeing right now on the screen, this is from this last weekend. We have a competitive league that we run as well. It's called Atomic Dart League. And we have a bunch of 13 plus people that come, age 13 plus, sorry. We have like about 35, 40 members. But they come out and play with us for 2 to 3 hours once a month. And that's our friend David. He makes all kinds of handmade blasters in there. That's a blow dart gun, but that's a blow dart for like 5 or 6 PVC tubes.
Right. There was 6, and then you put 5 in each tube.
He's ridiculous.
That's kind of the fun thing about the hobby is it's you get a lot of younger kids, and they really bloom into engineers when they start taking these blasters apart that they bought from the store, and they put different motors in them and springs and parts and reinforce them. And some people use fiber. Like, it's
do you power them with Arduinos?
Yeah, so ours is powered with an Arduino. So it's essentially a half a drone in there. There's 2 brushless motors, 2 speed controllers, and then there's an Arduino that takes the place of like what a flight controller would do on a drone.
Okay.
But there's also a motor in the back underneath, like just kind of in front of the trigger. And there's a Scotch yoke mechanism in there that pushes the darts out of the top of a magazine, and it pushes it into a pair of flywheels, and then the flywheels project it out, kind of like a baseball pitching machine or something like that.
Wow. Sorry, can I address something in the chat real quick? Yeah. Yes, it has been said that unless you are a vendor, you cannot bring your FDL to Earth. There's just you have to be an actual exhibitor in order to bring your own FDL.
I think you can bring it in, but they wanted it in your back Okay.
No, the tweet said, sorry, I just want to make sure I'm respecting Chris here and the venue and everything else. You know, being that they're high-powered blasters, we want to be respectful of the community and everybody in general with the gun culture and everything else going on. You know, we're very sensitive to that, but you can only bring it in if you're an exhibitor. So while we'd love to see it, it's just something that we want to respect the venue on. So
bring your pictures. Bring your pictures.
You're going to be a vendor, and you're going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Could you supply me one while we're there?
Mm-hmm. Oh, well.
Could we what one?
Could we make one? Like, we couldn't make one. No, we couldn't make one.
Well, I mean, okay, no, don't let me stop you. But I was just saying, hey, if I wanted to, you know, shoot foam darts at Earth, you're the people to talk to, right?
Yes, we're actually going to have a shooting gallery as well. So we have a partitioned room that is going to be set up with a shooting gallery, and we're going to be doing some fun stuff with Protopasta and Repcord and whoever else wants to throw in on it. It's going to be super duper fun.
Cool.
Yeah, so you'll have an area that you can try them for sure. And that's really where it sinks in, like when you get it in your hands and you fire it, like it all kind of clicks.
And you get that magazine that clears in like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So what, for one, I love that you're using correct lingo, like magazine. I love that.
That took him conditioning me.
But for two, so I've seen this. I was actually at Murph when Joel had one, and he went outside and started launching in the air there. But I just happened to be outside, right outside that door. And I was just like, what was that sound? That was amazing. So to kind of let it sink into people that are watching, how fast and how fast does it shoot and how many can it shoot? I mean, I've seen fully auto. So, I mean.
It's not going to translate. So if you go to a store and you buy a regular toy blaster, they fire about 60 to 80 FPS roughly.
Okay.
For a relative measurement, so like a paintball marker shoots about 300.
Right.
That's really hard to get to. Ours cap out at about 180 FPS, so that's about three-ish times faster than like a stock. The wonderful thing about having brushless motors in there is that you can change the speed of the motors. So we could actually turn it down so that it shoots slower than like a toy blaster, or all the way up to it.
Well, what's the fun in that?
Right.
But believe it or not, we have international customers that in the UK, they run their wars at about 80 FPS, while here we run them from anywhere from 100 to 250. Like our league is at 250, which it hurts. Jesse has some bruises from the last game that are pretty funny. So the use is there for sure.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I think. I mean, and the sound that it makes while it's shooting, the one I heard, I was just like, what was that? I need to see what was going on.
Where did that come from?
I can't wait for Earth because
I want to address something in the comments. Josh from Alien 3D is there, and he says, hey, I think an FDL could be used in a future Alien box.
Yeah.
I approve.
Absolutely, because we love his slime, like the alien slime ooze. That filament, I love that filament. I'm just waiting for someone to get a Ghostbusters blaster, and then I'm gonna definitely do it up with that.
Yes.
That would be it. That would be awesome
for sure.
So that's kind of like the other half of what we do too. Like this all really started as a 3D printing thing, and underneath the covers, we're really just trying to sell people 3D printers. But we are in a position where we have a thing that we can print in like any filament and mix filaments together and
we
things
have a lot
like
of
that.
Filament. I'm kind of a filament addict.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, we offer currently about 70 colors to our customers right now to customize all 30 plus pieces that are in their blaster, and we get some really cool ones. There's some, but there's been some people that literally every single piece is a different color, and it's the weirdest thing, but they wanted to do it and they can.
So I got to ask, what are you printing with? Like for one, machines, and for two, what material do you guys use?
You talk machines, I talk machines.
Yeah, so we currently do 100% PLA, and then it's okay. So the flywheels are ABS right now because the motors get kind of hot, so you need something a little resistant there. But the
why
shell
ABS and not PETG?
So PETG, the properties of PETG make it that if it breaks, it shatters. So there's a major concern of if one of these flywheels, which is spinning at between 30 and 40,000 RPM, if one of those breaks and shatters, then you're firing plastic bits out the end. PLA is surprisingly, even though everybody says it's super brittle or whatever, like it stands up to a lot of stress.
And up until this blaster, that's what we were printing every single flywheel in. It was just normal PLA, whatever color people had ordered, whether it's Hatchbox or whatever.
Yep. So ABS has like that kind of impact resistance quality to it. So you can put a lot of, you can put a lot of stress on them and they hold up. And
so, like I said, I was into 3D printing at the beginning. And when I got into 3D printing, ABS was all we used. Nobody, PLA actually had not even been invented yet. Yeah, it's crazy to think about, and it took me a long time to switch over in my mind from you gotta print in ABS to finally getting a machine modified well enough. I had to modify my machine to print PLA, but once I got it, so it was printing PLA nice. I was like, oh, now I get it, and so it's hard now for me to want to go back to ABS because it is so shrinky, it's so difficult to use. It has the one nice property that it can be acetone smooth, but besides that, I just can't support it anymore. And so I've always been looking for, I'm into PET G now, but you guys, I understand why you don't, and thank you for that. Now that I understand that. Have you tried, what's the other stuff that they have that's like ABS, but not ASA, that's the stuff. Have you tried that?
We haven't actually. We haven't really had a need. I try to keep the filament that I get in our shop to be something that I'm going to be able to use, whether it's for prototyping for him or for hydro dipping for me, or something that a customer is going to want. So we haven't explored too much out. The ABS is just the beginning for us. I mean, it's pretty daunting for me building up a filament library over the last 2 years and having all these brands that I know exactly how they print. I know exactly like their little quirks on all of my machines to start adding ABS.
Where do you get your ABS from?
Right now it's been Hatchbox and Paramount 3D. Like we're going with the companies that we know as far as color consistency, because while he's very much about the print quality and how it's coming out as far as the actual part that's going in the blaster, I'm taking care of the customers on the cosmetic end, because it's definitely a full fold package with us, that they get this performance blaster, but they also get it in every bell and whistle that they want as far as filament.
I heard you say hydro dipping.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I have all kinds of fun stuff that I've been doing.
I don't know how well you can see it here. Oh yeah, you might be able to just bring up. Okay, yeah. So this area down here, this is actually printed in white underneath. But then she has hydro dipped these with like a Galaxy hydro dip. So it's a very,
just to change color, sorry.
Okay, it's a very thin plasticky sort of film, and then you float it on water, and then you spray an activator on it, which breaks down the plastic, and then you can dip the piece through it.
Using the flexibility of the water is giving being able to wrap the film all the way around. And while I'm not as good as like these Yeti Cup people where they can do the whole thing, like I have to do flat surfaces mainly, but like this is one that I just recently did, and that was on the Facebook page. It's clear coated, so it's like much prettier now.
It's so cool.
I love doing it because you get so much detail and it just adds so much character. Like this is for one of our very good friends / customers, and his name's Sirius, and he loves that pattern, and he has done everything in color changing with it, and he's actually started doing his own, like learning how to hydro dip and stuff. So it's cool because not only do our customers order from us, but they learn and they want to start doing it as well, which is great.
So I originally played with hydro dipping because I wanted to make my own hydro dip pattern and dip stuff in it and try and coordinate it with the print. That is not easy. It's hard to get a hydro dip that you can print on in an inkjet printer, and it was just a whole big ordeal. But there are so many good hydro dip patterns that you can buy.
Oh, I have a bin of probably 100 patterns of things that I've bought because I wanted to try. Because like when I first started trying to do hydro dip, it was a customer that was like, "Can you print in camo?" And I was like, "Not yet, sorry." We didn't have a multi-material or anything like that, so it wasn't something that could do that. But I took 2 months and was like, "If you're willing to be patient with me and let me see what I can do," and it ended up turning out really, really well. And it started this well, now we can do all kinds of cool stuff. So I was ordering film off of Wish and waiting for it, but it was $1, so it didn't matter if it was messing up. And all of his old prototype parts I would grab and just be dipping all these parts and just seeing what I can do with it. And I'm pretty proud of my work. I mean, it's not perfect. It's not as good as, like, I couldn't go work in a motorcycle shop. Like, I know I couldn't do those kind of dips, but in my little parts and pieces, I think that they're pretty amazing.
That is amazing. So what, I know we talked parts, and I know we had a question on how many printers, but let's talk about the printers.
Yeah.
So we run, currently right now, we have 6 Prusa, is it Prusa or Prusa? I will ask you guys this.
I mean,
whatever works. Let's go with Prusa because it's easy. So we have 6 Mark II S's that we run, and we have 1 Mark III. And then we have 2 printer bot simple metals that we still run for internal pieces and prototyping.
Yeah.
And that was my first printer, and that's what I learned on. I wish that they were still around. R.I.P.
But hey, no, he's doing this whole big thing, and he's got the belts coming out and everything. I'm so excited.
He's coming back, but you know, I'm hopeful. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be slow moving.
Too high, but it'll be cool to see.
Yeah, but it's also cool to see him in, like, local maker spaces, and he found one of his old printer, like, old simples, and it's cool.
Yeah,
like
that is cool when you see someone who, I don't know if you could call pioneer or not, but faded, right? Someone that faded and whatever happened, and then all of a sudden they're coming back. It is cool to see that.
I think we can definitely call PrinterBot a pioneer in the field. What they provided, nobody else was providing at the time. And unfortunately, after they started providing it, everybody started providing it. But they were certainly one of the first.
Dr. Jekyll, I just wanted to throw it out there. That's what I say.
Yeah, thanks. That's super funny. So, I mean, we have actively 7 printers running at any point in time, and then the 2 that we have for, like, Slush, and then we have 3 that's lying around that he's frankenblatted into other things. So
you gotta have a So just so you know, it looks like Ben's connection wouldn't allow him to stay on, so he had to bail. Do you guys mind sticking around? And we
were planning on being here for a while.
Ben was in the pre-stream chat.
Yeah, he was
almost the entire time, but the moment we go live, his internet just dies. You know.
I think recently he said he switched from broadband to cell, so he was streaming, you know, straight off of his cell as a hotspot. And, he was explaining before we all started jumping on, we were talking, and he lives like 15 miles away from pretty much anything in the middle of nowhere, you know, and so he was on, like, we were talking beforehand, and then he's gone. But I appreciate
there are some nice benefits to being out in the middle of nowhere. It is. I live in an area where it's hard to get internet to, but not impossible. And I love it out here, but I'm also a little bit closer to the amenities than it sounds like he is.
Yeah, well,
I understand his problems. All I'm saying.
I grew up in so you leave 10 minutes out of my town in Wyoming, and there was nothing. So I appreciate.
I grew up in Colorado, so you and me are neighbors, man.
There you go. So we're talking ProjectFDL down here, right over here. We have a lot of great people. If you guys have questions in chat, go ahead and shoot them out there. WFO Riders in the house. I can thank him for helping me get this gentleman on over here. He was tweeting one day, like, going through, and he's like, we're going to find some cool people to help you. And I was like, sweet, let's do it. And so I definitely.
No, it's really great to be here.
Oh, it's so much fun. What's cool is, and I wish Ben was here, because Ben really does some really cool stuff.
Well, can I show you guys what I'm working on? Let me see if I can do this. Let me. I'm gonna try doing a thing with my video here. Whoop whoop whoop. Okay, that worked, but not the way I intended it. Okay, fantastic.
The infinite loop is here.
Yeah. Hey, we're back out though. So IRF has a Pinewood Derby race, right? And this is going to be my 3D printed Pinewood Derby car. Now there is. The top of it comes off. It's held on with a couple of little buckyballs. And I did a test print of it already, which taught me a lot, and I had to redesign everything. So I'm currently printing the next iteration of this beast. But do you guys recognize the car?
Is that Kit?
That's Kit. And I've been playing with Arduinos myself lately. And let me see if I can pull up the video of it that I'm doing. I don't know if you saw on Twitter. Yeah, I can't pull up the video right now. Wait, maybe I can. Let's not give up on this yet.
As long as it's not a copyrighted video, we're good, right?
Not at all. Not copyrighted at all. Well, I mean, technically copyrighted because I did create it and I own the copyright on it. Therefore,
There you go.
Copyright is as soon as you can fix it in a form that others can consume and things like that.
Right. Well, if they strike me, I'll say he gave me permission.
Yeah, that's right. No, you absolutely. Okay, let me pull this up. Turn off the sound. Let's see if it'll work. I'm going to be streaming this straight from my phone. There we go.
Nice.
Okay.
Now, this pattern here that I'm doing with electronics and LEDs is called a Larson scanner because Glenn Larson created Battlestar Galactica and Knight Rider. My last name is also Larson Scanner, so this is the Larson scanner. And what I did with it, I wanted very much for it to fade. The first version of this just blink, 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 blink. And I wanted it to do a fade as it went around. And so I kept an array of the values of each one of these, and I set it to 100, and I faded them all and then blasted them up there. I used a little bit of my old game programming knowledge to make this thing a reality. And I think later on in the video, I show the code. Here it is. So it took more than a little bit of code to make that happen, but it all worked in the end. And so I'm going to mount that inside here, and we're going to have a kit with a flashing light on it.
So Robbie Mack wants to know if you're going to dress like David Hasselhoff.
We were looking at that and laughing.
I love that.
You know, the thing is, if I get an afro, it could also double for a little bit of Bob Ross on Monday mornings when I do modeling on Twitch.
Yes.
Right?
Ross.
I love it.
The thing is, so on Monday mornings I'm on Twitch doing modeling, and this morning I started playing with the genie from Aladdin, modeling him in 3D. Going to make a 3D printable version of him. Let me see. Here's as far as I got this morning.
So cool.
That is way further than I would have got.
Oh, I only have an hour. But the funny thing is, when I'm streaming first thing in the morning, my voice is still very low, and also it's about, you know, it's time to be quiet in the house, so I end up being very Bob Ross on those streams.
It's a happy little tree.
Yeah, you know, and you know what? I'll play it up. I'm okay with Bob Rossing it and getting the ASMR crowd in there. Hey, I'm all right with that.
I love it. Here you go, Bob Ross bonus. Oh, here you go. And he said you need a twin with an evil goatee to be the evil version.
I used to have a goatee, and I would always joke. I used to grow a goatee annually. And I stopped doing it because I don't know if you noticed, but I'm starting to go a little bit white up here. I'm very white in the chin, except for a line right here that's very dark. So this blends in with my skin, and this looks like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
So favorite comment so far, it's the Joe Fro.
Joe Fro. Unfortunately, I don't grow a fro. I grow a mullet. True story. When I grew my hair out long, the back went to the shoulders, but the front didn't go past the eyebrows.
That's what we call bangs.
Yeah.
So I got to ask. I'm going to throw this in here. There we go. So this was another one of the FDL. That's one of those hydro dips, right?
Yes, yes, and that's over color changing. So go ahead. Sorry.
Jump in.
Okay, go.
Yeah, so it's serious. This is, again, one of the customers that has just really cool ideas with what he does. He got two different colors of color changing filament. So one was purple to blue, and then the other was green to yellow. And it's very heat sensitive. So as soon as your hand goes around it, you see the definition of each finger. It's really, really fun. And and the other black part that's with it is the Protopasta Empire Strikes Black, which we love.
The color changing is really neat because when we built I think we've done 3 blasters for him.
4.
And one of them is like a, what did he have it in more? Was it that one?
It was it was the green one. That one we just
Okay,
sent
yeah,
to
so
him.
it goes green to yellow. So when we sent it to him, like we knew it changed to yellow, but like it was green going into the box.
Right.
But when we saw him next was at an outdoor event, and it was here in Georgia, and it was like 95 degrees out. So the whole thing was yellow, like it had all changed color. It was really neat.
Oh, that's funny because of the heat.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
So good. That is so good. Oh man. So I got it. So you guys created this, you created a league, right?
Mhm.
Is that
With one of our partners? We have someone else that actually did it with us, so there's 3 of us.
cool? So
In chat, Dr. Jekyll wants to know how durable is hydro dip parts, and is it comparable to paint?
Oh yeah, it's completely comparable to paint because it's the layer that goes over the whatever the print is. It's just a thin layer of ink that gets settled into it, and then I actually go through and clear coat it with 2K, and I let that cure. So it's gonna be very durable, and I let it cure for probably an inordinate amount of time, but it still is something that
2K is essentially like a spray on epoxy,
yeah,
as opposed to like a polyurethane or something like that.
So that helps Michael's question there, where it could be polyurethane that would just take longer, probably.
Yep.
Yeah.
So another thing to note too, like
sticky. Be careful.
Oh, sorry.
That's a brand new one.
This one's still curing.
Yeah. No, it's sure. It takes a while.
These come off the printer and you can dip them right away.
I don't do any prep. Yeah.
We have.
Wow.
How do layer lines affect hydro dipping?
They really don't. I mean, I'll be honest with you. The hydro dipping actually kind of helps it because the film kind of gets into those layers that may be visible, and then when I clear coat it, I can just go ahead and do a little bit extra in those layer lines, so it fills it.
Mm-hmm.
So
have you tried really chunky layers though?
Have not. No.
No.
So we did this for our daughter, and this has a lot of very similar
there you go.
Similar components in it that the 3D printed version does. But this one is done on a regular toy shell. So this, you'd have to sand it down and then prime it and basically treat it like you were gonna paint it.
I usually use vinyl dye. With that, I'll do a vinyl dye and then a paint color and then dip over it.
What do you normally print out? What's your layer height normally set to?
0.2 mostly. We've got a couple pieces that we do at a little bit of finer height, but it's kind of a nice balance between, speed and quality. So.
Yeah, I kind of decided 0.15 for the same reason that the thinner you make the layers, and I've got a video about how fast can you print it, and the thinner you make the layers, that one has just a curve effect on the amount of time that it takes to print.
Yeah.
And so I do it at 0.15 because I think those layers look fantastic. I always think 0.2. 0.2 is my chunky layers. 0.27 is my really chunky layers.
Yeah. I mean, I'll do prototypes in 0.3. You pull it off the printer and it's just so non-structural, like you could just pull it apart, but it gets the shape across.
Well, it's funny when, way back in the old day, I get to be the old guy in 3D printing. This is fantastic. But way back in the old days, somebody did some math and calculated that a 0.27 layer line produced exactly the right amount of squish and the right amount of edges on it so that it adhered to the previous. And so for years, everybody was convinced that 0.27 was the ideal layer height. And if you go think, and when I went back and looked at it, because, all of a sudden people were like, wait, no, 0.1 looks way better. And we started pushing those layer lines down. I went back and looked at it, and 0.27, he was trying to figure out how thick he could make it before it fell apart. And with a 0.4 millimeter nozzle, 0.27 is the thickest you should go. It's not ideal in any way. It's on the edge of falling apart. Like you say, you hit 0.3 and it's just sponge.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I mean, from what I understand, 0.15 is actually pretty ideal too. So it's a ratio of the size of your nozzle to, your layer thickness.
Hey, we got the 3D printing nerd in the chat. Oh, German 3D printing nerd.
Bamboozled.
No, I've run into German 3D printing nerd elsewhere. So hey, good to see you, guy.
Yeah. Here you go.
Yes, yes, it is exactly that. It is exactly that, but in a little bit different fashion. Like with mine, I get the film in a big meter roll and I have to cut out pieces and make a tape dam and then put it in the water and cure it and do that all fun stuff. But same thing. And then someone mentioned doing it with paint, like with doing with spray paint. That's very, very common. Like there's a lot of people that do that and it looks really, really cool. But I really like,
it looks like tie-dye.
Yeah.
Which is an aesthetic.
Yeah, it totally is. And I have a really amazing company that I go through. Their name is Fractal Camo. It's cool. It's like a husband and wife in South Carolina. They're like super great. And he makes custom films for me. So currently right now I have baked beans and I also have bacon. And I have all kinds of fun stuff that he just literally will make me any pattern that I want. And
do you have one with neckties on it?
No, but that could happen if you have the necktie picture. Seriously, Jonathan could have it done in 2 days. Like,
neckties. I'm not wearing a necktie here, and I'm surprised nobody's called me out on the chat for it because a lot of times I don't get away with it. But I mean, I've got a few on hand if I needed to. I mean, I've got my Pokemon necktie right here.
Oh, hey, you know what? You won me over with that. Like, I play Pokemon Go, so.
Well, this has actually got a really funny story if you want me to get into it, but yeah, I got a Pokemon necktie. This was made by my sister, so bless her heart for it.
Oh, that's so cool.
So, well, you keep chatting. I'm going to throw this up there. So this.
Yes, that is another actual custom pattern made. So you can actually see some of the parts where the film, like when you're working with a pattern, sometimes there are like little blur spots that just happen.
Here maybe.
There's actually places that it like looks like it fades, and that's just where the transition of one went to the next. I think it's on the other side picture. But no matter,
you're not supposed to tell anybody.
No, but it's because these are custom and he's tiling them. Yeah. So there's only so much. Yeah, that right there around there, that translation of cut. Also, Jake from State Farm asked about bundles. Yes, you can actually get a blaster printed from us, but you can also get a bundle and build everything yourself.
We do all the soldering.
Yeah.
How long does it take to build one of those bundles?
Just the bundle. So a bundle is a few hours of soldering for me. Every blaster has about 100.
Oh no. If I order a bundle from you, how long would it take me to put it together?
I mean, like if you had all of your prints ready to go, and we have a really good instructional guide online where it's like a step by step. Jesse was very thorough in it. I
mean, I can. So yeah,
you can put it together in an hour.
I can build them in about 45 minutes to an hour. If this first time that you have seen them, it's probably like a three-ish hour sort of thing.
I'm just wondering if we're sitting around hanging out at Earth or something and wanted to build a blaster.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, no question, like, you hint. We could throw that out there, definitely.
I am subtle like a brick.
Hey, no, that's totally cool. I prefer that.
They should be real easy to print. I take a lot of care to design specifically for 3D printing too. So, there's bridging and things like that in it, but it's very calculated bridging and the overhangs aren't extreme.
And you don't need supports.
Yeah, no supports.
Which is great.
Right.
I love designing. Hold on for a second. I got to answer Blaster in the. I'm a double Windsor guy. Okay, so now I forgot what we were talking about. Oh, well, it was fast. It was going to be brilliant.
Fascinating. I love that. So there's a lot of really funny comments, and I know Blasto actually lives in Wisconsin here as well, and he just threw out the tie knot. You said the double Windsor. I whip out a double Windsor pretty automatically now, but there's a trick to the double Windsor, because the second one you can either go around the left or the right, and if you go around the one way, it makes a better looking knot, but it doesn't come out as well. If you go around the other way, you just pull that half off, and then the knot just comes out like that. So welcome to type tying 101.
And so I'm actually member of Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I served a mission in Singapore, and I put on and took off ties so often that now it's just comfortable to me,
So Wendy jumped in if you notice in the comments, let's go see here. Wendy actually is with COEX 3D. She's checking out the stream tonight, and recently she just actually got into 3D printing recently when she went into COEX, and she works for them, and she's the one that helps us all with our giveaways and our discounts and all that. But I have to agree, and we say this almost every stream, it is amazing whether it is a car like you're making or FDL launchers. Here we'll call them launchers, right? or anything in our community. You guys said you had some machines just standing by to make whatever you want, right? And it's just it's so cool to me that we can take nothing. We can take a roll like this and turn it into an
magic
FDL or a car or whatever we want. And
well, what I've said to people before is 3D printing is magic. Literally magic. If a magician shows you an empty table and they put a cloth over it and they take it off and suddenly there's something on the empty table that wasn't there before, we go, wow. Now, the difference is with 3D printing, it takes 3 to 4 hours between putting the cloth on and taking it off, but it's still making something from nothing.
Right.
Oh yeah. I mean, like we have a group that we speak to at our local elementary school that are like aspiring engineers and stuff, and just seeing them go from going into Tinkercad and being like, what is this? And Thingiverse, and then all of a sudden they're like creating their own designs and going to competitions, and it's so amazing to see so much of the excitement that 3D printing brings.
It's
cool.
It's really cool from like a design, like a product perspective too. Because the typical thing with a plastic thing is you go get it injection molded or whatever. But that you have a design and you give it to the fabrication house and they make it, and that design is permanent, right? So the neat thing with what we do is I can tweak the design little by little over time.
It makes iteration practically free.
Yep. So if we build like 3 or 4 in a row and I see that a piece is fitting kind of like a little tight, I can tweak that tolerance just a little bit, and it gets, better and better and better over time until everything just comes off the printer and goes right together. It's really cool.
So the other thing that is really cool, and during my day job, I actually help libraries build maker spaces, and we give it.
So cool.
Oh, listen, you don't have to tell me. I love it. And we theme our maker spaces. We got one maker space that's kind of based on electronics. We got one maker space that's more based on jewelry and crafts like that. We got one maker space that's AV and stuff like that. And yet in every single one of them, there's a need for a 3D printer.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter whether you're making jewelry or cosplay or stupid little, models of copyrighted characters. 3D printing can do that. It is the most versatile tool I think that we have come up with in the past decade, century, even.
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. So I got to ask. I'll start down here. What was your very first 3D print ever?
Oh, mine was very, very close to me. Like I decided that I was going to print the lamp that is in the red room from Twin Peaks.
Okay.
And those of you that know Twin Peaks, you'll get it. But if you don't, that's okay too, because it's a very 50s Saturn lamp that David Lynch found, and it's like about this high. But I found the right pearl to be able to do like the space thing on top, and then it had this very Astro-looking base, and it was maybe 2 days of me like, I hope this works, hitting a button and seeing what happens. And I was very, very, very proud of that. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, now learn how to hydro dip. Yeah. So like, I definitely came into it after him, but I love the process.
You
and
came
I
in after
everything.
I had figured out all the settings, and
but no question.
Like, I come from the day where like you couldn't just go on Google and say, I want the profile for the Mark III, blah. Like you still had to sit around and really tweak stuff.
Right.
My first print though was a fan shroud for the printer bought Simple Metal. It's funny because it came and it didn't have a fan shroud, and that was like one of the items that was on the card that came with the printer, or like it came on the disc or whatever. It was like, okay, you can print this. Figure out how to print it without that shroud, but the second you put the shroud on there, it's going to work way better.
Too funny. I my first long print. My first print was a calibration cube, but like this long print, right, was ducked. I believe it was the Petsfang ducks for my Ender 3. So I was like, please work. This is gonna be so cool, I was lucky enough to come in, at the end of last year, so I'm real late to this game, right? But I came into the Ender 3 world where I didn't have to go through the troubles that you guys probably had to go through with the older machines. I have a friend that has a printer bot, and I watched him struggle with that until he got it going good, and then something broke and he can't fix it because it doesn't exist anymore. But but it was awesome, and he when that happened, he got the Ender 3, and then I was like, this is amazing for $200. I'm in, and
yeah, the amount of printer that you can get for $200 now is incredible. Like when I got the printer bot, it was, going back to that, like he was a pioneer because there was nothing like that on the market at the time.
Right.
It was I think the kit was like $500 or something,
right.
And those things still run.
Oh yeah,
there's so much metal, and like all of the pieces were really high quality.
Nice.
For $200 at that time, I think it was just like some plywood and stuff.
Yeah,
there were plywood ones.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I've got a Replicator 1, which I am repairing. That was my workhorse for years, and it's going to be my workhorse again. And yeah, that's a wooden box, and it still is a great 3D printer. But it was $2,000 at the time.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he paid, it was like $1,200, and this was like, what, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. I had to ask him, but
there are still. I mean, I get asked a lot. People, what's your recommendation for a 3D printer? Which is such a hard question to answer, because what do you want a 3D printer for? And so many people get into 3D printing on those $200 3D printers and realize that they're going to take a lot more work and a lot more effort, and they're not, and then it ends up not doing anything, sitting in their corner and stuff like that.
Not a tool. you gotta make it work,
Yeah, you have to. But if you want a 3D printer that works out of the box, you got to spend still at least, well,
$500.
there are $400 ones, but they don't have very high capacity. $800 will get you a FlashForge Creator Pro, which is an amazing machine, and I do recommend. But I feel like the answer to which printer should I buy is so qualified.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I came up with a strategy at one point in time. So the office that I was working in that got me into all of the nerf stuff.
Alex.
Yeah, so I was the 3D printer guy, like in the office or whatever, and I would have those same questions. And I figured out the best way. So, and this is if you're talking to a friend that you are going to see consistently, always recommend them the printer that you would want to buy yourself, because in the case that they get it and they try it and they decide that
they give it to you. Oh, that's so good.
We got an extra person that way.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's a win-win.
Yeah.
Oh, I approve.
But it's smart, because no matter what you were working with, you could advise.
There's two trains to that thought. I'm IT by trade, right? And I look at that the way where what's the printer may have to work on the least with this person.
Yeah,
so it would be the same printer I'd want for myself. So that works. But I enjoy it. I have friends that come over and we play with their printers, and people that I meet in our area that are like, hey, I just got these. Can we film, or do you want to film this, or can we put it together, and stuff. So I have some really cool stuff.
So what's your generic answer? What's your printer that you don't want to, that you won't have to work on them very much?
Yeah, I don't. I think if you had to, I don't have that answer, because I have, the problem is I'm an IT guy, I like upgrading everything.
Well, see, that's the thing. I really like, as a recommendation, the monoprice voxel. And for the library, we buy a lot of monoprice voxels, but it is a closed box. There's not going to be any upgrading on that machine.
Yeah,
true.
You know?
So someone in the chat just said the See Me CNC Delta, they're made in the USA.
Yes.
So I have a Rostock Max V4 right over here, the new one. And it is amazing. I love it. It's a tank. It'll actually, if I can do it right, it'll be at Milwaukee Maker Faire this weekend. We're going to be there all weekend Friday we're actually going to be there. They're having like over 1,000 kids come in for like field trips. And so I volunteered. I actually took off of my day job, and I'm going to set up Thursday night on my birthday. And then Friday, we're actually
happy birthday.
My birthday. Yeah. Thank you. So my wife's like, "What do you want to do?" I was like, "Milwaukee Maker Faire." And then, by the way, we get to set up on my birthday for Friday. So, but it's going to be cool because they close off areas because everyone else is setting up too, and then they let a whole bunch of kids come through and see everything. And I'm hoping to have my my row stock out there. It's just getting it there. It's a little more. It's a tank, but I don't want to set it on its side.
Yeah.
I think that the Chibi Mall stop motion that Hack Monkey made was done on a CME CNC. I don't know if you've seen this video, but I made a bunch of cute little animals for my last Kickstarter. And he made a stop motion while it was printing. He was moving animals around the plate and having them do stuff and stuff like that. So he was having to come back at regular intervals to do the stop motion. It was mind blowing.
That is cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of it. This is my first one. I'm actually having having a table in a booth instead of walking around and filming. So I think that's going to be interesting because me being a YouTube creator, content creator, I want to be out meeting everybody. I want to see what you guys are doing. Yeah. And then I'm going to be hanging out at the booth, and then hopefully I'll get some time to go out and check out the fair too. But I'm just looking.
Well, I wanted to answer what my first 3D print was.
Let's do it.
I got it all queued up over here. Check it out.
All right.
Okay. So this is a Chinese chess set. I was playing a lot of Chinese chess at the time. Okay. And I wanted to, normal Chinese chess sets have Chinese characters on them. I came up with a set of Chinese chess pieces that have little icons on them, but I didn't actually 3D print this one. I uploaded it to Thingiverse, and this is on Thingiverse. This is thing number 10,500. So I can claim to have a 5-digit Thingiverse number, which is pretty good these days, honestly. I uploaded this, and somebody, actually, he might be up near Earth. I'm not sure, but he printed one, and I was like, could you send it to me? Because I didn't have a 3D printer. I had a family and a budget. And so he was like, yeah, okay. And he sent it to me. And when I got this thing in the mail, I was like, holy smokes, I made this thing in the computer, and the computer made it real. I was lost. I was never gonna be able to come back. But this is the 3D print that got me a 3D printer. This is a chess set where the chess pieces snap together and Voltron together to make.
Oh, that's so cool.
That is
it was $2,000 worth of cool at the time. Yeah. And I have iterated this design. There's a couple of better iterations. In fact, after I got my 3D printer and I printed this, I realized that the base to base snap of the pawns wouldn't work. And but they're all print without supports. Even before I had a 3D printer, like the idea of overhangs and bridging all just made sense to me. And so I incorporated that into the design. So it prints without supports. But the hardest part was getting pawns to mate together base to base with something that would print without supports.
Right.
And one of the later iterations of this actually managed to accomplish it. There it is right there. I essentially took a 2x2 Lego, sliced it in half, flipped it over, sliced it in half, flipped it over again. So we got 2 edges and 2 pegs that when you turn them 45 degrees to each other, 90 degrees to each other, yes, they snap together and hold together perfectly. So
that's so cool. I guess
so there you go.
Tonight. All right. So I got to slice that. Hang on. No.
Yeah, this model, I will warn you, I probably should go back and redesign it because 3D printing accurate with 3D printers. Let me switch back to the other view. Printing accurate with 3D printers is very, very difficult. And you guys probably know that. Mm-hmm. Getting things to mate, like just print 2 Legos and do it on every single printer that you have, and then try mating them together, and then try mating them with real Legos, and then try mating the real Legos with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Getting these to fit together is all. And so this robot chess set suffers from that, in that you're going to have to do some test prints to finally get it, and then you're going to print one set, and then you're never going to want to print this thing again, and I would not blame you.
Well, today I actually got one. You know those iris boxes that you can turn, and the iris like
super cool. Did you do the print in place? The print in one?
So
how'd it go?
It went awesome. It was the first one I got to work, and you know what? I have to say this: bone stock Ender 5.
Wow.
Absolutely stuck. Nothing done to it at all. All it is it's still stock springs, stock bed. I didn't change anything on that Ender 5 yet.
So I actually got an Ender 5, and I did the Lego test with it, and it was one of the best ones that I did it on. Now, I also did it on, there was a mini printer that I got a little while ago, a kid's printer or something like that. And I suddenly discovered that it couldn't even print a proper circle. It is so disappointing.
So I saw a couple of comments, and then we're going to do a giveaway real quick here, pretty quick. But I did see a couple of comments, and I do have to agree with Robert, Valina, and Shay Street. When you asked me what printer to start with, I do have to say the Ender 3 for two reasons. For number one, the community is huge. I mean, there are millions of these things out there now. And it was the race to the bottom. I think they won that quality-wise, what you can get out of it. And then the communities blew up, so everybody with their issues, that most of the issues are already out there. You just have to find them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest thing is you can get one for like $160 right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it is printing. The prints that come off a bone stock Ender 3 is the brains and everything is the same as an Ender 5, right? It's just a different frame.
Yeah.
But like you said, if you don't like it or you get bored of it, it was $160.
Yeah.
It wasn't, $500 that you wasted. And my wife said it actually, we're interviewing Steve from CME CNC, and she said it as soon as we got done. She said, I think the Ender 3 is the gateway printer. Like, you're probably, you know what? I think you're right, because all these people who never had these before, they bought them for $200 or $230. And I mean, now we see our community like is huge,
Yeah.
Now I'm not saying you can't. You're gonna have to tinker. You're gonna have to dial it in. You have to get it ready. It's not a Prusa right out of the box, right? But will I put my prints against a Prusa print? I said it during my stream with the Prusa guys last week. I definitely would.
Oh yeah.
Now I have to get one to make that comparison. But
yeah, I really want to get my hands on a Prusa as well, because I recommend them, and I haven't ever even used one, but their reputation is so strong.
They're spectacular. I mean, they really, really are. I mean, not that any printer doesn't have their faults, but they're great.
Yeah, I mean, I keep spare parts on hand for ours, because they're not the magic bullet, right? They are great quality. I really liked it from the perspective that Joseph Prusa was one of the original RepRap people.
Yes.
And he has taken it and he has built a company out of this, and he is consistently putting out a high quality product to back that up. And
keep in mind that all of these, the Ender 3 and all of these printers that we're using, they're all copying, they're piggybacking off of Prusa's work. Prusa is the giant whose shoulders they are standing on.
Yeah. Well, and we talked about this last Wednesday. We did a stream with a bunch of really awesome community members, and I think Prusa is the Apple of 3D printing. So they have the community all based around it, right?
Yeah. Maybe Android. Well, I mean, like, you know what I mean, as far as like people are still like I don't know.
Well, like it's community, so they have everything from.
I feel like they're more the IBM clone, because to be the Apple, it would need to be a closed box system that works beautifully every time, that had an extremely high focus on user interface, but extremely high quality. And the closest I think we have for that is DaVinci, is XYZ printing. And I think we've already had somebody knock on them just completely unsolicited in the chat. So,
Well, what I mean by that is community wise. So they start with the Filament, They have parts. They have the printers. They have the slicer. They have everything, and all under one roof. And Apple kind of did that. And I don't mean like set it and forget it, because they're also not proprietary like Apple was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, if we want to make a direct comparison to Apple, MakerBot made that attempt 15 years ago, and it didn't work too.
Yeah. Not yet. But I think that, okay, I am of the opinion, and this may be an unpopular opinion, but I am of the opinion that if we do get an Apple in 3D printing, if we get a company out there that actually produces good quality prints straight out of the box with a focus on user interface that actually delivers, that will be the best thing in the world for 3D printing. And a lot of people don't like me saying that because they're like, oh, well, you don't like Marlin? You don't like having to get your hands dirty fixing the thing and scraping your knuckles? No, I don't. I'm sorry. I would like an Apple of a 3D printer, okay?
Everybody likes their own thing. So it's
There's a place for all that. I mean, I'm going to go to Earth, and after having said this, I'm going to be like, my head's going to be on a stick outside. I don't hate the people who are making their own 3D printers. In fact, I go to these RepRap festivals, and I feel like, okay, I am seeing the innovations that we're going to see in 4 years in a Prusa.
I don't mean to interrupt you 1 second, and then we'll go. Jesse, I think you were trying to say something too, but I just want to throw it out there because I know we're a little bit over time. If you hit mystery, we're going to do a filament giveaway, a mystery roll from COEX. Any mystery roll, you just got to pick it out, and I'll connect you with Wendy, and we'll get that hooked up. So if you're in the chat, type mystery right now, and then we're going to go back and come back in a couple minutes when everybody can do that. So go ahead. He's like, what?
Are we allowed to?
Yeah, you could definitely try. I think it blocks anyone in the chat, but
no, you can't be blaming.
If you want to try a roll, let me know, and I can make that happen.
Okay, cool. For sure. No,
dang it. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, Miss Terry, that's funny. So what were you saying, Jess? You think everybody kind of has their own thing?
Yeah, everybody sees it from a different perspective. There's definitely an advantage to having Apple in the market, absolutely, because there's a lot of people that come in and just want to print things.
And they should be able to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Agreed.
Absolutely. And then there's I like to think of printers and kind of for younger kids as gateway CNC machines too. So like you're really using how to use a machine and how to use a tool and how to calibrate a tool and stuff. But there's a place for both. It's interesting what we do in comparing it to the 3D printing community too. So like there is a whole Nerf modding community where you take things apart and you change stuff out, and that is the DIY thing.
Right.
And even though what we do is open source and it's DIY and everything, it is also the thing where like I can buy a blaster from you that shoots harder than everybody else's, and it just comes to my door and it's ready to go. And
true.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see. Brandon Son 112 made a very good point, and it'll blow your mind. Here you go. What if Apple becomes the Apple of 3D printing?
They have some patents on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? I worked for Apple, so I understand the level of.
Well, it was the fruit stand.
Yeah, no, I couldn't say. Actually, like as a manager, I was not allowed to disclose that I worked at Apple. So anyone that worked at Apple, if you see fruit stand next to someone's employment, that's what it means. But I mean, like, I'm working for them, and the sheer volume of how much they take care of their employees and everything else, I really do feel that it wouldn't be a bad thing, just from knowing that. But I mean, they also work their people to hell, so who knows?
So, we'll give everybody about 20 more seconds. Mystery. Type mystery in the chat if you have not done that already.
So there's someone in there, Wendy. You said that your 10-year-old really wants a printer. Our son bought his first printer at 10. He went to Micro Center with cash and bought.
I'm muted. What's up? It's been an hour. Yep, we're gonna wrap it up here soon.
He's
okay. Yeah, he bought his first printer and now he's on to his CR10. So I mean, like it's definitely a good thing for kids to have. It's just be ready to ask. They're going to be asking a lot of questions.
Right.
And 3D printing for me was a gateway drug into making. I'm now doing Arduino and stuff like that. Would I have done that without 3D printing? Yeah, maybe not. I was doing software development before, but I was never interested in hardware until 3D printing came along.
Right. that's I don't have the attention span to do the software and designing part.
I can't compete with the young kids anymore.
There we go. Eccentric Nut. Congratulations.
Yay, that's a great name.
Yeah. He's always in pretty much all of our streams, and I definitely appreciate that's awesome that he won that. I think he won something during my 1,000 subscriber giveaway, which bridges me into, hey, let's get to 5,000 subscribers. I'm giving away a printer. I don't think it's going to happen by Thursday like I was trying, but we're going to work on it. I still have a TiVo Tarantula Pro we're going to give away. And then that bridges me into, hey, Joe, tell us where we can find you.
I'm the 3D printing professor on YouTube, 3DP professor on Twitter, 3D professor on Facebook, because I did a terrible job of choosing the same handle for everything.
Nice. And don't forget Twitch.
3DP professor on Twitch. I got that one right. And Monday mornings on Twitch, I'll be doing modeling. And if I've got a reason to pop in on Twitch and answer people's questions, I'll sometimes do those on the weekend.
Nice. Yeah. How about you guys? Where can we find you and all the places?
ProjectFDL, ProjectFDL.com, and then at ProjectFDL for everything else. So Facebook and Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah. We're very active on Facebook. We're kind of old school like that.
But that's just because our customers, that gives them an avenue in order to talk to us about.
Yeah.
So.
Facebook is old school now?
Kind of. I mean, depending on your demographic, your demographic does still Facebook for sure. And
I go out and talk to people and call that old school.
No, MySpace is old school.
MySpace is extinct school.
Yeah.
It's still operational though. I just looked at my old profile the other day and it was very fun.
That's awesome. Well, you guys know where you can find me on this channel here. You can find me at The Edge of Tech on Instagram, The Edge of Tech with a K on Twitter, because I wasn't original and someone already had my name. And Facebook, let's see, website. If you go to theedgeoftech.com, it just leads you back to here. So that's pretty cool. But thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys coming. And I just want to say, if anybody in the chat, anyone watching, is not subscribed to these two here, Ben E. Brady, thank you. I know you couldn't hang out.
And same with you guys. Seriously, I don't know how somebody, well, maybe you got the 3D printing professor bump. That's not a thing. But you guys, subscribe to Jim. Come on. He does some good stuff.
Thank you. And in the chat, right? And in the chat, if you see someone in the chat, jump on their channel, subscribe to them too. There's so much of us. There's so many people in the community doing some awesome stuff, and we're going to try to get everybody, that wants to come on. If you ever want to be on the show, shoot me an email. That would be jim@theedgeoftech.com right there, and just say, hey, I want to be on your show, and we'll make it happen. Sometimes overnight, right, guys?
Yeah, exactly. Or daily.
I appreciate the last minute jump on there too.
Not a problem.
And again, thank you all for coming. We've had awesome viewership for this stream all night. So thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for coming. If you guys hang out just for a second, I'm going to close us out and then we'll say goodbye. Yep. Don't forget, let's get to 5,000 on my channel. We'll give that printer and many other items away too. But thank you guys. You guys have a great night. I appreciate it. Bye.
Bye.
Everybody.